The sun hadn't yet broken over the hills, but the warm, golden glow from the kitchen hearth spilled across the wooden floor. Maria moved with quiet grace, stirring a heavy cast-iron pot on the old wood-fired stove. The scent of fresh cornbread and simmering beans filled the air, comforting, familiar, almost too intimate. Sheriff James Cutter stood leaning in the doorway, boots dusted from an early morning patrol, hat in hand. His usually stern face softened as he watched her. The way her dark braid swung when she moved, the quiet hum she carried under her breath, it had become his favorite part of the day. His eyes lingered a second too long on the curve of her back as she bent to stoke the fire. At the table, Evelyn Cutter sat straight-backed in her lace nightgown, hands clasped tightly around her teacup. Her lips, painted too red for this hour, pressed into a tight line. She noticed his gaze, as always. But she said nothing. Evelyn spoke in silences, cutting ones. She was beautiful, once. Still was. But cold. Reserved. Meant more for church socials than prairie kitchens. Maria glanced over her shoulder and caught the sheriff's eye. A flicker of something passed between them, soft, dangerous. She turned quickly back to the stove, cheeks flushed. "You're up early, James," Evelyn finally said, her voice clipped like frost. "Couldn't sleep," he replied, never looking at her. "Smelled breakfast." Maria set a plate on the table with practiced care. She did not speak unless spoken to, but her presence filled the room. James sat across from his wife, but his body angled toward the cook. Outside, the rooster crowed. Inside, something long unsaid hovered thick between them, like smoke refusing to rise. The house was quiet, wrapped in the hush that only deep night could bring. A lantern flickered low in the kitchen, casting long, sleepy shadows across the worn wooden floor. The ticking of the wall clock was the only sound. Until the slow creak of the back door broke the stillness. Sheriff James Cutter stepped inside, boots heavy with dust, his badge dulled by moonlight. He paused just inside, letting the stillness soak in. He didn't go upstairs to the bedroom where his wife lay. He never did, not anymore. In the kitchen, Maria stood at the table, folding laundry in the soft glow of the lantern. A simple cotton dress hugged her figure, her hair loosely tied back. She looked up at him, not startled, just tired. Familiar. "You're late," she said quietly, not scolding. "Just noting." "Yeah," he replied, setting his hat on the counter. "Long night. Didn't feel like going to bed just yet." He stepped closer, eyes tracing the lines of her hands as they folded a towel. "You always wait up." She shrugged. "I don't sleep easy in strange places." "You've been here over a year." Her smile was faint. "Still feels strange sometimes." He watched her a long moment, then said, more to the room than to her, "When I walk into this house, I don't feel like myself. Not till I see you." She froze, laundry forgotten. "I feel more alive with you than I ever did with Evelyn," he added, voice low. He stepped closer, barely inches now. His hand brushed hers. She didn't move. He leaned in. Her breath caught. Then she turned her face away, stepping back. "You're married," she whispered. His jaw flexed. "Not in any way that matters." The clock ticked louder. Neither spoke again. The bell atop the old meeting hall rang out 3 times, echoing across the dry fields and waking the town like a warning. It wasn't Sunday, but the pews were full, shopkeepers, ranch hands, and wives all packed shoulder to shoulder, whispering behind gloved hands. Evelyn Cutter was gone. Sheriff Cutter stood at the front, arms crossed, hat in hand. His face was drawn, voice steady but low as he addressed the murmuring crowd. "My wife's been missing for 3 days," he said. "No sign of struggle. No note. Just gone." Gasps fluttered. The preacher bowed his head. A few nodded grimly, as if they'd expected it. She may have left of her own accord, James continued, eyes scanning the faces. But I'll be conducting a full search. Someone cleared their throat. She didn't take her horse, came a voice from the back. Didn't stop by the post office, neither. Left her jewelry, another woman whispered to her friend. Even her silver comb. And though no one said it outright, the room leaned in the same direction, toward Maria, seated near the back, hands folded tightly in her lap. She kept her eyes down. Dressed plainly, not in mourning. Not yet. That detail didn't go unnoticed. Later, in the fields beyond town, two ranch hands muttered as they rode along the fence line. "Funny, ain't it?" one said. "Sheriff don't seem too broken up." "Funny how the cook moved into the big house right after," the other added. "She's cleaning his shirts now. His bed, too, maybe." By sundown, the town buzzed with suspicion. Whispers stuck to Maria like dust on boots. The sheriff said nothing. But when he handed her the keys to the master pantry the next morning, the message was clear. She wasn't just the cook anymore. The small room behind the kitchen smelled faintly of lavender and smoke. Maria's quarters were simple: cotton curtains, a single wooden bed, and a small writing desk where she kept her Spanish Bible and a photograph of her late mother. Outside, the sun was slipping low, casting amber light across the dusty floorboards. A knock sounded. Then the door creaked open. It was Mrs. Harlan, the widow from 2 plots over, holding something in her gloved hands, worn parchment, folded once, then again. Her face was pale. "I found this," she said, voice trembling. "In the roots of my rosebush, wrapped in oilcloth. My boy was digging." Maria took the letter slowly, unsure. "What is it?" "Your name was on the back," Mrs. Harlan whispered. "But it's from Evelyn." Before she vanished. Alone now, Maria sat on the edge of her bed. The fire in the stove crackled behind her. She unfolded the letter, fingers steady, eyes scanning the neat, looping script. "To whomever finds this. If I disappear, know that I didn't go willingly. James has changed. He watches me too closely, speaks to me like I'm already buried. He says I'm cold, that I'm not enough. But I've seen the way he looks at her, Maria. Sweet Maria who stirs his coffee just right. I fear she's not as innocent as she seems. Or worse, she is, and she's in danger too." Maria's breath caught, but she kept reading, until the final line. "If anything happens to me, it wasn't an accident." Silence. She folded the letter once more, eyes unreadable. Her jaw tightened. She rose, walked to the stove, and dropped the letter into the flames. It curled, blackened, and vanished into smoke. Maria didn't cry. She just stood there, staring into the fire, fists clenched at her sides. The sun hung high and merciless over Dustwell, casting sharp shadows across Main Street. The townsfolk gathered in hushed clumps, storekeepers, ranchers, even the preacher, all drawn by the summons no one expected. Sheriff James Cutter stood on the porch of his own home, arms crossed, revolver at his hip, sweat glistening at his temples. Then Maria appeared. She walked steadily down the center of the street, dressed in black from her scarf to her boots. Not mourning black, but something harder, more resolved. Her face was calm. In her hand, she held a folded paper, yellowed at the edges. Whispers rippled through the crowd as she climbed the steps. "Maria?" the sheriff asked, voice low and warning. She said nothing, just opened the paper and held it up so all could see. "This is Evelyn Cutter's written confession," she said, loud enough for the crowd. "Given to Father Burke the night before she disappeared." The sheriff's jaw tightened. "She wrote everything," Maria continued. "How you poisoned her tea slowly, how you said no one would miss her if she faded quietly. How you asked me to help. Said we could be together once she was gone." Gasps. She ran because I told her to, Maria said. I didn't poison her. I helped her live. A deputy stepped forward, hand resting on his holster. Is that true, Sheriff? James didn't answer. Not with words. Just a twitch in the corner of his eye, a flicker of rage and regret. Two deputies moved in. One took his weapon. The other read the charges. The town stood silent as James Cutter was led away from his own home, his boots thudding hollow against the porch boards. Maria didn't smile. She simply turned, stepped back inside, and shut the door behind her. For the first time in years, she was truly alone. And truly free.